In this tutorial, we're going to be talking about your lower back pain is specific to you. Many of the people that I talk to, either they think or they've been told by something they've read, watched, or professionals told them that their lower back pain should be this way, or lower back pain only happens when you sit, or something like that, some generalized term of what they think lower back pain should be. And then if they're given that sort of information, the individual can then think, well, there's something wrong with mine, or there's something wrong with me, and that's not the case. So what we're going to talk about in this tutorial are some of the things for you to think about that are going to help you understand your lower back pain, and help you understand that your lower back pain is specific to you. So the better you can understand it, the easier or more simple it becomes to then begin overcoming it. You've possibly heard me talk about this topic before. I know I've included it in different tutorials, but this one was specifically talking about lower back pain is specific to you. I've taken this information from Backache, which is a second edition by McNabb and McCulloch. It's from 1990, so it's from recording this, which is 2020. It's 30 years old, and they're still talking about the principles in here that they are in Low Back Disorder, which is a much newer book. So these principles have held over time. Some of the questions and the way they put the topic together is slightly different, but the essentials of what they're saying are the same. And that's what we're going to go through. We're going to go through six things that this book is, in some respects, teaching the professional to do. So I'm sharing this information with you so you can start applying it to yourself, and you can start understanding your lower back pain a little bit better. The first tip is picturing the pain. So what we're trying to do is essentially build a picture. Now, like an artist would draw a drawing, they will start with very sort of shaded outlines of the basic picture. So that's what we're trying to build. And then as we go on through the consultation, we're trying to build more detail about the lower back pain that you're experiencing. So when I sit with someone either on a remote consultation, which is done obviously via online, or face-to-face, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, first of all, sort of build an outline, and then I'm trying to dig deeper with more questions and build a more sort of detailed picture of that person's lower back pain. So a very simple place to start is, where do you feel the pain? So I will be, and then they will say, I feel it in my lower back. I might then ask, okay, whereabouts in the lower back? Is it to the left, to the right? Is it the base of the spine? Is it slightly higher up? These types of things. What I might then have them do is point to where it is, so I can sort of get a specific idea of where they're feeling the pain. Now, obviously, if you're there with yourself, you won't necessarily have to do it, but the idea of building that picture of lower back pain by starting off with what you know, well, I feel it, it's sort of down here on my right side. You can start to understand your lower back pain a little bit better. So where it is lower back pain, it's lower back pain and to the right. And then you start getting more and more specific about that. The other thing is the type of pain that it is. So is it a burning type of pain? Is it a constant pain? Is it a dull ache? Is it a sharp pain? Does it sort of trigger and just sort of just come on all of a sudden? That type of thing. So we're then starting to understand the different type of pain that it is. Now, again, as I've mentioned, yours will be specific to you. You could have a dull ache all day, every day, and then, I don't know, once a month, it triggers and sharpens. So that would be specific to you. Other people might be in no pain whatsoever, and then again, it just locks and goes into a sudden pain. Some people may have constant pain for 2 weeks that sort of shoots down the leg. Some people might have it that goes across the top of their hips. So everyone has a different sort of specific type of pain. So that's something that you need to be aware of when you're, first of all, trying to understand your lower back pain, but then trying to put in place some sort of rehabilitation process. Because, as I've mentioned before, some people have been told that it should be this way, or you should only really be getting pain when you're sat down or when you're stationary. And that's putting in people's heads a way that it should be and negating the way that it is. Whereas a profession, what we really need to be doing is understanding that person's lower back pain, understanding that it is specific to them. There are many different types of pain, and there are many different types of scenarios where that pain will show itself, and it becomes very specific to that person, which then makes the rehabilitation very specific to that person. The next part is, what are the symptoms of the pain? Now, as an individual, first off, you may not understand this, but it could be just simple things like stiffness. Does your lower back feel stiff? Do the hips feel stiff? Is it the inside of the hips? Is it the outside of the hips? Is it the front or the back? All these different types of things that help you understand your lower back pain a little bit better. Because again, these symptoms could be there for a reason, and then again, that can help you start to put in place what you need to do with regards to your lower back pain. Also, you might find things like balance, for example. So if you stand up on one leg might be drastically different to another leg. There could be a strength issue. There could be from one side to the other, or you could have very strong quads, very weak hamstrings. So there could be discrepancies in the same leg, front to back, inside to outside. So again, as a professional, something that I need to do is I need to understand these things. And sort of the luxury that I have is not only can I do this physically with someone face to face, but I can also do it online because I have the tools to be able to do that. I have a set of online physical assessments that people can go through, and then they can feed those results back to me. So not only can I sort of ask questions to them over FaceTime, WhatsApp, Skype, whatever it might be, Zoom, anything like that, so I can get the sort of the verbal responses from them. I can also get physical responses from them from physical assessments via these online videos, online assessments, and then the results get fed back to me. What I can then do is then match the two together. So do they correlate? Do some things not correlate? Because if they don't, I can then ask further questions about things that don't correlate, so on and so forth. So you can start to see how the picture then builds around, okay, this lower back pain seems to be coming from this part of the anatomy. Maybe it needs this thing, this stretch, or this exercise, or this movement to put in place to overcome that. So knowing what the symptoms are, be them stiffness, be it balance, be it strength, where is the strength coming from, where is the stiffness coming from, is it in certain areas of the body, is it at the front, is it at the back, is it at the outside, at the inside, so on and so forth. So where it might seem that there's a lot of things going on, as you start to go through those things, you can start to see, okay, I get lower back pain at the base of my spine. It's triggered every couple of weeks, and it concentrates itself in the middle part of the back. I've got stiffness around the outside of my hips, and I don't have good balance on my left leg. So we built a picture of that person's lower back pain. Now, I've just made that up off the top of my head. I don't know if that means anything to anyone, and it's not necessarily something that could be out there. That could be someone's exact lower back pain. I don't know. That was just me just pulling that information together. But once we've got those 5 or 6 points, we can then start to work with that. The third one is what movements, postures, positions, and or loads trigger the pain, or make the pain worse, or make the pain better. If we can start understanding those, it gives us an ability to reduce the lower back pain. So you may have heard me talk about before, there are 3 essential steps to overcoming lower back pain. You've got understanding it, first of all, which is what I'm talking about now. Once we've gained a better understanding of it, if we've got movements, postures, positions, and loads that help reduce the pain, we've now started identifying some practical things we can do to become pain-free for longer, which will then start to wind the pain down and reduce that pain. So we're asking those questions, again, as I mentioned, online or face-to-face. The consultation is essentially the same. What we are looking for is what makes pain worse. So it could be movements like like the lifting posture, picking things up off the floor. It could be a carrying posture. It could be doing a specific exercise. It could be carrying shopping bags. Again, that type of thing is specific to the individual. Some people it might be a specific exercise. Some people it might be sat down. Other people might be sat down relieves the pain. So you've then got a flip opposite. You've got one person which is triggered by sitting down and one person which is relieved by sitting down. One person which is triggered by walking, one person is relieved by walking. So you can start to see that there should be no professional out there saying, well, your pain should be this way or your pain should be that way, or I don't know what this means, or that type of thing. Because essentially, if we can ask the right questions and we pick out those answers, we're starting to build a picture of that person's lower back pain. It just needs the person, which could be yourself or someone like me, asking those quality questions to extract that information, to start building that picture, and then allowing us to understand what are the things that we need to be either reducing or avoiding or doing less of, as opposed to the movements, postures, positions and loads that we need to start doing more of to be able to keep our pain or keep our back pain free. Number 4 is the functional limitations. So this would apply to someone's lifestyle. So what is the person's job? What are they required to do on a daily basis? Is it a sedentary job where you're sat down a lot? Again, if we're gleaning information of what positions create more pain and they have a sedentary job and sitting is a problem, then what we need to do is build a strategy where they can sit for a period of time, do some work, but then they need to move, get up, move around, change their posture in the seat, so on and so forth, to help relieve the pain. We need to gain feedback on that. Is it working? Is it not working? If it is working, we can continue doing it. If it continues to work and then plateaus, so we've reduced the pain, but it's now plateauing, we now need to think, well, okay, we need to take this a step further on to be able to overcome their pain further. Or maybe it's a specific sport. Maybe they like to play golf. Maybe they like to ride a bike. Maybe they like to go for a run. All these different things. So what's limiting them? Because if it's the run that's limiting them, but they like to run and they always have run and they want to run, then we need to think about how we're going to strategize, keeping them doing what they want to do, but not aggravating the pain. So if they have a functional limitation, how can we go about overcoming that and getting them their function back? So again, everything is sort of on the table, because again, you get a lot of people will say, oh, you should never do that again. Oh, but that's my sport. That's how I, manage my stress levels. That's how I like to switch off from work and things like that. So we need to be able to keep doing that for people. And if we just come up against, no, you shouldn't do that, or you have to stop that, then that's not going to be sort of a great strategy for the rehabilitation, because it's going to then affect them in other ways. So for the most part, someone like myself will try and keep everything open to doing. It might be that we need to just ease back, or we might need to stop for a few weeks, or we might need to do it in blocks. So do it for 4 weeks and then stop for a week, and then do it for 4 weeks and stop for a week. So it's being able to manage that for the individual so they can keep going on for as long as possible. Number 5 is listening to your body, because that's essentially what I'm doing. I've always said your body paints the picture. Your body tells the story of your lower back pain. All I have to do is listen. So that's something that you can do. You can listen to your body. We've gone through sort of the 4 things so far, which is a sort of a broad outline of the types of questions that I'm asking when I do my online consultations and face-to-face consultations. So we're trying to pick out that information. Now, when I ask the question, a lot of people will go, oh, I'm not sure, because it's never been something that's in their head to think about. And then they'll say, right, next time I do it, I'll think about it and I'll let you know. So there's those types of scenarios. So it might be that they go away for a week, they go about their life, but they're aware much more. So they're now starting to listen to their body. So the more you can do it up front, and then if you speak to someone like me, it's then much easier for me to then start putting in the pieces in place to overcome that lower back pain. And the final one, number 6, is personal goals. Now, this is again an essential part of a consultation, because as I mentioned when I was talking about functional limitations, people might like to play a sport. It might just be a hobby. It might be a switch off activity where they can just switch off from work. They can switch off from home life. They can switch off from whatever they need to switch off from, and they go and play their sport, or they go and do their run, or whatever it is. That brings some degree of normalcy, normality to their life, and regularity to the life, and it keeps the mind calm. And so they don't then get the sort of collateral damage of, okay, my back's bad, and now I've got to stop doing everything that I enjoy doing, and I've just got to sit or lie, which is not a good strategy. We need to try and keep as much normality to the person's life as we can within reason. It might mean if they are a golfer, well, instead of going to play 18 holes of golf 3 times a week, go and play 9 holes of golf twice a week and 18 holes once a week. So again, we're just sort of reducing the load, but we're still keeping that person doing what they enjoy doing what they like doing, giving them some sort of goals to fulfill, because they might want to improve their golf. You don't know. So by gaining an understanding of someone's personal goals, you can gain an understanding of how far you need to take the rehabilitation. Because if it is they have no sport, they just go to work, they come home, if it's as simple as that, we can take the rehabilitation so far. If they want to get to that point and then keep playing sport, or keep doing this or keep doing that, then we might need to take it so far, but then go off and help them achieve that, or go off and help them achieve this. So by understanding the lower back pain that much better, we can reduce it. We can then start to build the spine health. We can then bring back the function, and then we can bring back the normality to someone's life. And in some respects, they can sort of carry on doing what they've always enjoyed doing, knowing that they can reduce risk of back pain in the future, and that they can sort of maintain good quality spine health in the future, because they've gone through that education process of overcoming that lower back pain and building the core strength, building the core stability, and building the spine health that they need to keep their spine or their lower back away from pain. So many thanks for watching this tutorial. I hope it's been helpful. Just to quickly summarize the key points that we've talked about. What we need to do first is we need to start building a picture of the lower back pain. So we need to know where it is on the back. Obviously, if you were working with me face to face, you'd be able to say it's at the lower back, it's to the right, whatever it needs to be. What type of pain is the other one? So we need to know where the pain is and what type of pain it is. Is it shooting pain, constant pain, burning pain, sudden pain, all those different types of things. Then we look at what are the symptoms. Do you have stiffness at certain joints? Is your balance affected? Is your strength affected? Is it at the front, the back, the side, the outside, the inside of the body? What movements, postures, positions and loads aggravate or make pain worse, and what make it better? What are the functional limitations, which is another one, which is thinking about what now can't you do in life that you've always wanted to do. You've then got things like listening to your body, which is what you'll be doing all the way through these steps. And then the final one is making sure that you maintain the personal goals that you want to achieve, because in some respects everything is still on the table. You just need to be able to sort of build the roadmap to get there.